Okay, please take your seats. Okay, the Blaze book distributed, not distributed. The Blaze, not yet. Distributed. Okay, Tenzing Sala, Namsala, and Dedena, if you can help. Some young ones, Drishti, you help to make sure that the Blaze, the book is distributed. The Blaze and also the text, the Russian in the Russian language. Venerable Chunla, the Yori the Junju Injinan. In fact, for information, that the chapter 9 of Guided Bodhisattva Life, chapter 9, is available in English as well as in Russian language. So please make sure that you take only one, not two, because we're a little scared I'm afraid that if everybody will get a copy. Okay, Drishti. This is the English version and the Russian one. Give one to me. This is the English version of the chapter 9, God is Bodhisattva of Life. And this is the Russian version. Here. Okay, for the Russian, you have this text with chapter 9 as well as the prayer book which we use, and for the English speaking you have the Blaze, this one, plus this text, chapter 9. Okay, raise your hands, those who need the English text and who did not get the book. Raise your hands. Yenna, you got? Good. Those who require the English text, please raise your hands. Anna, you got both? Good. Okay, the Russian, you all got, the Russian participants, you all got the book? Russian, you all got the book? Good. Okay, so this side is all Russian. Okay. Okay. Raise your hands if you did not get the copy of the book that You should have, raise hands. If you didn't get a copy for yourself. Okay, you all got it? Good. Okay. Okay, it seems like most of you, the faces are very familiar to me. My long-term friends, I can see many faces which are very familiar. It's a great joy to be together once more. And there are newcomers as well. It's a great joy for me to be with you. And so basically you know the background of the teaching, how this all came into being, is we have Dr. Anitaji here, Dr. Anitaji here. Please raise your hand. Okay. So Dr. Anitaji is the one. Of course, you'll not be happy that I introduce too much about her. That she's the one who is the main person to request His Holiness for the teaching on Guide to the Bodhisattva of Life, Chapter 9, Wisdom Chapter, and for which, of course, from the part of the Indian Sangha, meaning the Indian, the aspirants wanted to learn the Buddha's teachings, compassion, wisdom, and so forth. So she's the main person to organize this program, the requesting His Holiness for this teaching. His Holiness accepted. And then alongside, like a revision, Dr. Andaji then, since long time ago, requested me if I can do a revision here in Tushita after His Holiness's teaching. And knowing that Dr. Andaji extremely dedicated and very hardworking and extremely kind, and when I made this request, I couldn't really decline that request, number one. Number two, that related to Tushita from Venerable Kumpenla, so who actually I know almost like the last over 20 years, and when I see how so kind, how so selflessly that she's working for Tushita Center, and if I say no, it's very easy for me to say no, but this is what Bodhisattva Lama Adishidevangara Shri Jnana, when he was made the request to come to Tibet, at the request of the Tibetan kings, Lama Ishu and Lama Changju, Lama Ishu, who passed away, who in prison. In order to invite Lama Tisha to Tibet, he had to die in prison, arrested by a neighboring king. And he really sacrificed life in the prison. And then Lama Tisha finally receiving the Tibetan entourage who came to request Lama Tisha to come to Tibet. And when narrated all these stories, Lama Tisha said that actually there's no reason why I should come to Tibet, because that for the Indian masters to come to Tibet, there should be two reasons. One is that in those days, fundraising, the Indian masters, the scholars to do fundraising, they come to Tibet and they give teachings, and the Tibetans, they are so dedicated, committed and devoted, they just offer gold, silver, all these things. So this was the place of fundraising spot there. So I'm not interested in the fund. This is what Lama Tisha said. Number two, that my going there to Tibet, there should be incredible benefit for the service of the Buddha Dharma. Even that I don't see it within me. But thinking about your king, Lama who sacrificed his life in prison, who died in prison, I can see that he is an incredibly evolved Bodhisattva. And if I were to decline the invitation, and in fact I'm incurring the infraction of breaching the advice of a great Bodhisattva. So he referred to Lama as a great Bodhisattva. So likewise, I see that, and many of you will not have any idea of how the Dr. Anandaji and how Venerable Kumbhenla, how two of them have been working so hard for the Dharma all these many years. Many of you have no idea. You think that, okay, I just come here and then this. But behind how much selflessly they work is amazing. So I cannot really say no, although I'm not at all eligible to teach these teachings, but I cannot say no when the request is coming from two of them. So this is why this is all happening. So alongside, before we go any further, this is more like introductory class, introductory session. What I'd like to say is that I have some points to relate to you with respect to the procedure of the next 7-day program. And the first thing is that this book, The Blaze, in English and in Russian. So these two books, of course, published by Tibet House, and it's years, almost like 20 years of effort in bringing this book out. And it's not like, okay, if I don't get this copy, I'll get it from Amazon. You'll not get it from Amazon. Right? So this is your copy. What you have is your copy. Keep it with you. If you want to make notes, make note on this. So this is the free copy, free distribution is coming from very kind donors. Brother Alvin and Sister Christy from Singapore. So we should be very grateful to two of them, and they already made contribution to Tibet House, saying that this money is for these books to be distributed to all the participants of the retreats, wherever it happens. So this is how you are getting this book free of charge. And then alongside this book, the text, the chapter 9, wisdom chapter, this book is coming to you for free from Tibet House as a means to offer the accumulated merit with respect to our making prayers, efforts in making prayers for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that His Holiness's the knee surgery be successful and very quickly be very stable and quickly healed. So with this aspiration, let's all pray that whatever merit Tibet House gathered, all these almost like the 1 billion Indians. So Tibet House is being supported by the Indian government, and the money that we get is the tax money of the Indian people, more than 1 billion Indians. So their money is all in. So let's pray that because of the accumulation of enormous merit of this gesture of distributing this for free, that all these over 1 billion Indians, and many of them they have no idea as to what's the Buddha's teachings, who is Bodhisattva Shantideva, and what is this book. No idea, but they have their contributions here. So with this in mind, let's pray that each one of them be connected with the teaching of the Buddha, with the teaching of the Bodhisattva Shantideva, the wisdom of chapter, and so with this accumulation of merit, let us pray that His Holiness's the recovery of the knee replacement surgery be very quick, quick and very stable. So that should be a prayer. And so for the Russian, there are many contributors in terms of course, it was published by Tibet House and free for all of you. But there are people who are involved in translating these materials into Russian language, and some materials already translated by earlier translators. And even this program, what is happening here, the Russian, there are so many Russians here. It's initially, the initial trigger is the Anatin Dumla, who is now translating there. She's the trigger of all these programs, amazing programs. Nalanda Diploma Course Batch 4, where we had about like 1,700 or over 1,700 students for the Nalanda Diploma Course Batch 5. Out of these, 1,200 were Russians, and the rest of the world, 500. And the Russian is 1,200. So all these amazing, magical, the works are happening, all triggered by this young lady. I don't know whether she's translating properly. Okay. So she made it happen. She was the initial trigger. And you may be wondering how, she is a part of this program was that she came as a tourist when she was 19 years old to Dharamsala. She just bumped into my room with another girl, Russian girl, two of them, and somebody, a restaurant owner. She pointed to my room and said, if you want to, so what is so special about Dharamsala? And then that gentleman said that in Dharamsala is the Buddhist philosophy. So what is Buddhist philosophy? Then this gentleman pointed to my room, and then they entered into my room. So they started every day to learn about Buddhist philosophy with no idea what for they came here for tourists and end up learning Buddhist philosophy. And then now all this magic is happening all this like almost 20 years. It's like 20 years of our connection, and then now she's extremely learned in terms of knowledge. I was in a way like encouraging her that you should be the one to translate, that I'm confident in your knowledge, because I could see how precise she is. And then we are so lucky that this time we have Chechenbai, present, Chechenbai there as assistant for this translation into Russian language. So thank you so much. And I could see that many long-term friends are there, extremely compassionate ones are there, and of course the Geshe here, and Geshe is here, Geshe Jimbal is here, and then many Venerables here. So and then many of my very close friends are here. It's such a great joy for me to be with all of you. So there's a little bit about the book. And of course, that is your copy. I keep it well with you. And the next important point is that is about the group discussions. Group discussions. So ideally speaking, if you came to know about this timetable for the remaining 7 days. So it says 9 days, but we have the formal teaching till 7th. So timetable there, the morning classes, the early morning practice, because this text is quite heavy, although it looks very the short text, but it's extremely condensed, is very heavy. So therefore, I want to make sure that the participants, you get enough sleep. It's very important, because if you don't get enough sleep, and then early morning we get up, and then you have the 3 classes plus 2 group discussions, 5 plus the morning session, 6 plus the optional group discussion, 7. By the time and the text is so heavy, and you will feel really tired. So then at one point your brain will hang. Then there's no point. We cannot go any further. So for that matter, I'm thinking of say tomorrow morning we'll be together as auspicious beginning, and later on we'll say whenever we need to have a little bit of break meaning the morning break from the morning practice, we will make the announcement a day in advance. Okay, so that you can take a little more rest, and yes, your friends, some of you maybe the friends are meeting, and don't spend too much time on in your room talking and wasting your time, and it'll exhaust you more. So whatever little extra time that you get, you spend more on for your rest. So this one thing. Because of this, the group discussions, that is extremely important thing. Group discussions, and many of the participants who have been with me for the last the retreats, many of you know the procedure of the group discussions. The idea is that the groups, there's going to be Russian group and the non-Russian group. And the Russian group, I would request the Tinstumla and Chechenbai, and of course there's where is Tatiana? Yulia? Where's Yulia? Yes. So the two of them will see how to break the Russian group into like the 5 groups or 6 groups as they like. Then the non-Russian group, you'll be split into 8 groups, and I requested Venerable Tenzin Chungla here, Pujala otherwise. Venerable Tenzin Chungla requested her, and she has been into these retreats and she knows the procedure so well. She's helping me a lot with respect to creating the groups, 8 groups for the non-Russians, these speaking people, and each group will have a moderator. I wouldn't call it a leader, but as a moderator. And initially the moderators are they picked up on the basis of the people who are more into these retreats, the retreats where the group discussions were being held, in other words, who know the procedure so well. So we identified several of them, 8 or 9, 10 of them identified, and actually we have like 8 groups. And the moderator's job is to not to give answers to all the questions from the audience. It's not your job. Moderator's job is to make sure that as many in your group speak, as many in your group get the chance to speak, raise the questions, and give answers. And in the group discussions, whatever says, particularly those people who are already aware, have good knowledge of Dharma, don't overtake. Make sure that, particularly if you get a sense that you know more than the other people because of the exposure to the Buddhist teachings, some of you, for example, like Geshe and Geshe, they're already Geshes. So they'll be there to help us to to channelize us in a proper direction when we go in the wrong direction, or when we are just spend too much time on one point, then they may help us to navigate us more properly. And then likewise, the other seniors, they will help you. For example, like the instrument herself, and Pujala is here, and Dr. Andaji, many years of experience into the Dhamma. There are many of these seniors. I can see you here. So those who who are more exposed to the Buddhist philosophy, I would suggest that you take initially, at least the first 3 days, you take a back seat and observe, and where your contribution is required, just contribute 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, let others speak. And then gradually on day 4, day 5, then you can start to speak more, and that the others, newcomers, will get a chance to see that, okay, if we put effort, if you spend like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in the Buddhist teachings, then this is the where you end up. This is how learned you become. So then you become like a role model for them. They'll be very helpful. So this is one thing. And then the observing silence. So usually retreats. You may have attended many retreats where the silence is the main feature. Everybody maintains silence, but this is, say, a journey, whether you want to be silent or not silent. In both cases, the goal is to awaken your Buddha nature. To awaken your Buddha nature, in other words, to become enlightened. And whatever helps you become enlightened, that's what is required. So, for to be enlightened, what we require is predominantly, we require three things. One is to activate your cognitive thought processes, number one. To activate your cognitive thought processes. Why? For the reason that the Buddha identified the ignorance as the root cause of all the problems. Ignorance is the root of the samsara, miseries. So therefore, the counterforce for the ignorance is the wisdom, is a cognitive, positively cognitive thought process. So that has to be activated. Number two is that based on this cognitive activation of the cognitive thought process, then you have to activate the affective thought process, love and affection, affective thought processes. And for that matter, the activation thought process, the affective thought process, these two are very closely connected. It is done effectively by activating your cognitive thought process. So these two are very closely connected. Now the third factor is that to stabilize these two things, we require the stability meditation, also known as the shamatha meditation. So Vipassana meditation, commonly known as Vipassana meditation, and in the Nalanda tradition, we call it shamatha meditation. So shamatha meditation is required to stabilize, to gain stability in your, let's say, the fine-tuning of your cognitive element of your mind and the affective element of mind. So these three things are required. And here is chapter 9 of the Guided Bodhisattva of Life, which is purely wisdom chapter on wisdom. And wisdom is the activation of the cognitive. It's not just maintaining silence, it's for activation of the cognitive thought process. So therefore your mind should be as actively activated. This is required. So therefore I won't really encourage too much silence, but at the same time it doesn't mean that now you can freely talk. This is also one extreme. In other words, what I would suggest is that, otherwise to be observed, you should be observing total silence in the retreats. But I would say is that for example, all group discussions, classes, morning meditation, all these things actively you are activating your cognitive activity of your mind, as such that this activation of the cognitive thought process happens most effectively in the form of the conversations, discussions, and so forth, as such that it should be a very productive discussions, productive conversations, not just gossiping, not just sharing your, what kind of movies you like, what you like about Dharamsala, Ganj, and so forth. This is not to be. Make sure that this is well respected. The platform that you can talk is to be used precisely for your intellectual growth, and then through this way to activate your effect, to expand the horizon of your effective thinking. And for say in the mornings, we also do a little bit of the shamatha meditation. We do when we have the morning sessions, we do the shamatha meditation included. So there's a different story. And then the evening, after dinner till the next morning, complete silence except for the evening group discussion, the optional group discussion. Except for the optional group discussion, evening, after the evening club, the dinner, till the next morning, breakfast, so the total observance of silence. This is very important. And I know that many of you will feel is a little disturbing that you cannot use your mobiles. But I would say this is, number one, I truly appreciate it. Otherwise, the spirit of the retreat will be damaged by the mobiles. And how many people can really have the sense of discretion to use the mobile wisely? So less. So in a way, it is like we're coming here to deceive ourselves, not to grow, but to deceive ourselves. So therefore, the point is that I truly respect, I truly agree with the Tushita Center that the mobiles not allowed to be used. In fact, confiscated for the next 7 days. It's amazing. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. If I run a center of my own, so that would be one of the criteria. For sure, I really appreciate it. I really respect it. Okay. So meanwhile, I'm extremely grateful to Venerable Kumpenla and her team. I could see that this number of the people, and they have to take care of everyone. That's amazing. And then I'm not just saying this out of, say, other agenda. This is what I wholeheartedly feel. So, say, even sitting in Delhi and then somebody having anything to do with Tushita, thinking of Venerable Kumpenla, it gives me such a joy that there's somebody there who will make things happen, no matter what situation. This is amazing. So, we all should be extremely grateful to Dr. Andaji who made this possible, and Venerable Kumpenla and the team, and Venerable Kumpenla extremely big heart to make the Dharma, to let the people grow in their heart, in their wisdom. And this is how so selflessly working, that she's working for the Dharma, for the sentient beings. That's amazing. As a part of fulfilling the aspirations and the wishes of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Sopa Rinpoche and all her teachers and her team. Because that she's amazing, that the team naturally they become extremely very efficient, very kind. So we all should be grateful. Let us not think that this happening. Yeah, it's Tushita's there, right? Okay, some programs are happening. No, this program is all because of Dr. Anidaji's request since long time ago, and always making sure that my mind does not change. And then as I said earlier, the effort that Venerable Kumpenla and her team they're putting to make sure that, to the best of their ability, to make sure everybody, that they are accommodated, even though you are on the waiting list. Still somehow they will make sure that you're accommodated, that the aspiration or your request is not turned down. Okay, I'm extremely grateful. Let us all be extremely grateful for them. And then all these programs are happening, let's not forget, because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Because His Holiness accepted the request from the Indian Sangha, Dr. Anandaji, who was the main person behind this, making a request to His Holiness. His Holiness so kindly accepted this request, and then this plan was created, and this is how we are together here. So thank you so much, Dr. Anandaji, and thank you so much, Venerable Kumpenla, so much, and your team. And each one of you, I see that many of you, my long-term friends from Narada Studies and otherwise as well. Thank you so much. Okay, now this is a little bit about from tomorrow what we're going to do, and I'm not going to go into too much into how to make prostrations. Usually for the Bodhisattva retreats, I do these explanations. What's the purpose of prostration? How to make prostration? How to offer lights and so forth. And I'm sure that Venerable Kumpenla, the light offerings are there from tomorrow morning, and then we try to make it a little quick because of the number is quite big. That offering lights one by one, offering lights, it should happen quickly. And when offering lights, don't just think that I'm just the lighting one the Tila candle, but imagine you are lighting billions and trillions of lights offered to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas on behalf of all the sentient beings, that the darkness of ignorance is eliminated, and then the light of the wisdom and the light of the compassion, expansive compassion, infinite compassion, dawns in the minds of all sentient beings. And every time you do the prayer, make sure that it's not just you making the prayer, but your true parents, all of family members, and all dear mother sentient beings, including human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, the god and goddesses, spirits, and particularly, for example, the poor animals in the hands of the butchers, like the KFC, and the say in the war-torn zones where how many people are dying, in the oceans, how many creatures are being eaten by each other, and how many creatures in the wilderness that are being eaten by each other for their survival. Just think of all of them, and let's include them in the study, reflection, meditation, that they, the way in the manner in which the Buddha indicated, that all these problems are rooted in the ignorance, that your effort here, you are encouraging everybody to be with you, to learn how to eradicate, how to ignite this light of the wisdom, so that the darkness of ignorance within is eliminated from them, and they are upgraded from the realm of the animals to the health beings, to the hungry ghosts, to the level of the humans, and then become enlightened. So this is what we should be visualizing. So with this in mind, let us, as auspicious beginning, let us open this book. So given that this is your copy, this book, the one that you have is your copy, where I may, and this book as well as this one for the English dependent English readers, and this one for the Russians. So given that these are your own copies, if you want to make notes, you can make notes on this copy, or those of you who are using the iPad, laptop, and so forth, that's one story. But some people, they're feeling that we cannot make notes on these books. They think that this is non-meritorious. So the reality is that we should respect these books with greatly. We have to respect it. We have to give a great respect to these books, in ways that we are not supposed to dirty this book for trivial purposes. For example, like you have to do shopping, and you may be afraid that you may forget it. So you, as a reminder note, you make the note on this book. These are all being disrespectful to the book. So, whereas you want to make notes of the explanations, so forth, that's fine. That becomes the additional, the sacred part of the book. So therefore you can make notes. Some people say, no, this is not allowed. It's not at all non-meritorious. It's fine. You can make notes on this, but then with the sense of discretion, with the sense of respect that is required. Okay. So with this in mind, now let us turn to page 3. As the great Tibetan masters say, that the Totanyele Chawanyi, meaning that there are two activities. There are two activities which are very important. One at the beginning and the other at the end. At the beginning, the important job is to set a proper motivation. At the end is to dedicate the merits properly. At the outset, make a proper motivation, set a proper motivation, and at the end, dedicate the virtues and the merits that you've accumulated properly. So these are the two things to be done. So at the outset, as a part of this setting proper motivation, let us reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us as so loving, caring, and embracing. particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Are Manjushri, Are Avalokiteshvara, Are Tara, Are Vajrapani, Are Maitreya, Are Nagarjuna, Bodhisattva Are Deva, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shanti Deva, Bodhisattva Shanti Rakshita, Acharya Kamalashil, Lama Silingpa, the Arya Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Dignaga, Acharya Chandrakirti, the Acharya Dharamkot, Lama Selingpa from Indonesia, Lama Dishidibingri Shri Yana. And even if you do not understand who these enlightened beings are, don't worry, just imagine that the whole sky in front of you is just whole space is filled with all these enlightened masters, innumerable, infinite Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And that too, and them in the form of extremely loving, caring, and embracing. Looking at your eyes with so much love and affection, the manner in which a mother looks at you as a very young, tender child. And for the Bodhis of the field, visualize your two grandparents, even though you may have difficulty with your parents for some people, but here we are the people having difficulty with their parents is a clear indication of our being an ordinary person. So this study of chapter 9, wisdom chapter, is to help us to get the wisdom to transcend our ordinariness, be able to see all other like small children, and that you, like the mother, being able to have a deep understanding of the problems of others and embrace everyone rather than isolating them. So imagine that you are like the mother to all the sentient beings. And as I said earlier, imagine that you are inspiring everybody to join you in this practice. So with this mind, let's turn to page 3. And as we read these verses, and there are 3 ways of reading these verses. 1, where the words flow. Number 2, the words flow and the meaning is reflected. Number 3, words flow, meanings reflected, and experiences invoked. And for those of us who have no experience of the meditation, the deeper studies, reflection, meditation, we can't expect to have the third one. But for sure, we can have this second one at least, which means that as we read, to make sure that the meanings are reflected. So only when the meanings are reflected, and the best, if the experience can be invoked, then the transformation takes place within us. Whereas if only the words flow, meanings are not reflected, then the transformation does not take place. So the purpose of our being together, and then particularly coming together to study this text, the whole purpose is defeated. Okay, with this mind, page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the macro Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Dhamma, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the macro Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Dhamma, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the macro Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Dhamma, I pay homage. Sanje joda zoge chonam no chanju bardo dane yazu che dage chinso kebe sonam ola benjir sanje rubare sho sanje joda zoge chonam no chanju bardo dane yazu che dage chinso kebe sonam ge ola benjir sanje rubare sho sanje joda zoge chonam Chancho bardo dane gyapso che dage jinso kebe sonam ge tola ben sanje drubare sho. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is read out. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrate to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue us expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sukata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. And many of these verses, I'll try to explain this in the course of our this retreat. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. This mantra is very important, and I'm quickly let me explain this here so that we may save our time from tomorrow. So basically, this mantra is, which is also known as in praise of dependent origin mantra, or the Pratisamutpat Hridaya mantra. In Tibetan, Tende Nyingbu Sunga, and the initial syllable Om. You like to include this syllable Om or without Om is fine. The thing is that we should not miss the meaning of the mantra. Actually, if you are to include this syllable Om, as you know, that this is something common to Buddhism, Hinduism, and the Jainism. And this in Buddhist context, the Om, the syllable Om is constituted of 3 letters, A, U, Ma. And these 3 letters, they symbolize the body, speech, and mind of each one of us, and the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened beings. Particularly when you become a Buddha, each one of us, everyone, whether you're a believer or not believer, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Everyone has the potential to become the fully awakened one. In other words, you have the hidden treasure, the treasure to make you perfect eventually. So, this awakening, so what we have, what will be awakened if you were to become enlightened? What do you have? You have the body, speech, and mind. The body, which is, at the moment we see that our body has so much of limitations and is prone to sickness, aging, death, hunger, illness, and so forth. And the speech, it can easily offend other people, and a mind so defiled, and you can interpret things in a very defiled form, like although there's a very clean Mount Kailash there, but with a very dirty lens, you only see very dirty Mount Kailash there, and we are looking at things from the dirty lens of our mind. So we are bound to see things as imperfect, complications, anything as something incorrect, the imperfection there. So this is what we see, because that we are looking at things from a dirty lens of mind. The spectacles which you use is dirty, our mind. So our mind is so defiled in the form of anger, agitation, craving, jealousy, and so forth. But this is not your true nature. Our true nature is extremely beautiful and so perfect, full of compassion. Then the last like 56 years of my life, I came across so many people where things can easily be done if the person who is associated with that job, if the person, a very complicated person, even a small thing cannot be done. Whereas something is as though like impossible to be accomplished, if the person associated with that person who has a big heart, very compassionate, magic can happen. For example, like Venerable, where things are very complicated, when I know that Venerable is there, I know that she'll make it happen. So it's all compassion. But the compassion, the magic happens. When the compassion is missing, nothing can happen. Say, this flower, if it is there, then no, it should go there. If the person is not compassionate, even this will not go there. You're getting it? You say, no, sir, it should be there. Who told you this there? Right? Venerable Kumbhela said that. Who is Venerable Kumbhela? Right? Even the small things you cannot lift when the heart is missing. But the heart is there. Even something which is just like a clay, big castle can happen. When the heart is there, every beautiful things will happen. So this is where so anger and so forth, these are not our true nature. For example, like we crave for things. Oh, in winter I need warmth. In summer I need cold. Oh, it's so under scorching sun. I just like to have icy cold water to drink or ice cream to eat. What? If you eat it, what happens? There's ease coming. And you think that this ease is coming from outside. Actually, the outside is just a trigger. For example, my hand. I just knock on the table, and the table produce a sound. My hand is not producing sound. Sound is produced by the table. My hand is the trigger. Sound is actually produced by the table. So these, say, the good things outside, bad things outside, particularly, for example, the happiness that we seek, external factors, they are like the triggers. What actually is coming is the treasure inside. That joy is coming from inside. It is the true source of joy is inside. With the same trigger, sometimes the joy comes, sometimes the joy doesn't come. If it's purely external, whenever you meet with the external object, that joy should come. It doesn't come. So sometimes you see the person, there's such a joy there. Sometimes you will see same person, you become extremely grumpy. So the same thing can trigger joy and trigger the anger within you. So it's not the external object. External object serves as a trigger. The real thing is coming from inside. The real treasure is inside. So that your body, which is so much limitation, sickness, aging, death, hunger, cold, so forth, this is not your true nature of your body. Your true nature of your body is extremely radiant, so pure. The Buddha's body. Your speech is extremely pleasant to hear. Anybody who hears it will get such a, the purposeful, the meaning of their life. So this is your speech. And your mind is so beautiful, amazingly beautiful. Even the thought of this mind, let alone the effect of this mind, even the thought of this mind, just feel that this mind is like crystal clear, luminous. It's amazing. That's your true nature. So these three things, which are not yet seen, they are in us in the form of dormant state. So, Om, when you recite this, Ah, Om, Ma, we should be reminded us of that. My body should be transformed into a perfect body of the Buddhas. My speech should be transformed into the Buddha's speech, and my mind should become the Buddha's mind. It doesn't mean that your body removed and the Buddha's body come. No. Your mind manifests in the form of a pure body. Your mind manifests in the form of pure speech. Your mind manifests in the form of the pure mind. That's the meaning of the you transforming into Buddha, or your Buddha nature, zero perfection inside, becomes manifested completely, where all the defilements, like the diamond mixed with the mud. When the mud is removed, the diamond is exposed fully. So you become exposed fully as an enlightened being, total fearlessness and infinite happiness when all the mental defilements are removed. So this should be the reminder when we recite the syllable Om. The next is how. How do you do that? Ye dharma hetu prabhava. Ye dharma. These phenomena which we experience as happiness, as sadness, and so forth, these phenomena, they don't arise randomly. They arise from the causes. Ye dharma, hetu. Hetu is a cause. Prabhava is arise. This phenomena, the experience of joy, sadness, so forth, they don't arise randomly. They arise from their own respective causes. Hetu prabhava. Hetum tesham tathagato. Hetum, plural form of cause. Hetum tesham, these causes, particularly in the context of the miseries which we dislike. Miseries, given that they arise from their respective causes, so these causes, what are these causes which trigger all these miseries, sadness within me? For example, somebody tells you, hey, stupid boy, stupid girl, what for have you come to Tushita, right? Why don't you go to Goa for a holiday, right? So then what happens? How does your mind react? It instantly reacts. So there's a trigger there outside, and the anger erupts very easily and disturbs your peace of mind. Instantly your peace of mind is lost. So therefore, the point is that what are these factors which trigger, which steals the triggers which steal your peace of mind? What are these factors? In other words, to simply put, what are the causes of the miseries? The causes of miseries, yes. The causes of miseries, they can be many. Yes, they are many, but they are so beautifully encompassed or so beautifully summarized by the Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha identified what these causes are. So it says, the hetum tesham, hetum, the proof from causes, tesham, these causes, particularly of the miseries, tathagato, the one who has gone to the ultimate, the one who has, referring to the Buddha, tathagato hyavatat is said. What these causes of the miseries are is indicated or is said or is taught by the Tathagata, by the Buddha. Tesham, again these, chayo, whatever of these causes of the miseries, there's a cessation. Nirodha means the cessation. These causes of the miseries, there's a cessation, the possibility for the cessation. So, what is that cessation? Evam, thus, Vadi, again taught or said, that the cessation of these causes is said by Mahashramana. Maha is the great, Shramana is the seer, the saint. Mahashramana, said by the great seer, referring to the Buddhas. Yesvaha is established thus. So this is reality established. So this meaning, in other words, here what we need to remember is that all the miseries which I go through, yes, external factors are there, but the real, what is coming inside, the trigger, it should be like the sound of a clap. A sound of a clap, which should necessarily come into being by the combination of two hands. So, one hand symbolizing external factors and the other hand symbolizing internal factors. So external factors, they're innumerable, but if you can control the internal factors, no matter how strong the external factors are, no sound of your misery stops. So the wise people will put effort to eradicate the internal factors. Unwise people will think of eradicating external factors. Why those people who look for external factors to be eradicated, they are referred to as unwise, is for the reason that external factors, they're innumerable in number, that our lifespan is too short to be successfully eradicate all the external factors. But the internal factors, we can eradicate. This is doable. Only two internal factors: ignorance and selfishness. So these are two internal factors. You get rid of these two things, and then of the two hands, one is gone. Then no matter how strong the other hand is, no sound of the misery stops. So this is the wise people's approach. So this should be the reminder for us. Whenever we recite this mantra, we are not expect some miracles happening to us, some blessings coming from the Buddha. I recited 100,000 times, so by now I should have some blessings. So this is totally the unwise expectation, impractical expectation. So what is required, what is expected? By reciting this mantra, it is like a reminder for us that if I don't want miseries, stop the cause of miseries. For which first identify the cause of miseries as taught by the Buddha, and then resort to the remedies to overcome the cause of the miseries. This should be a reminder for us. And then this reminder should be too strong to us, for us, that every time you're on the verge to do something negative, we should be reminded that I should not be engaging in this. So day by day, if not day by day, at least month by month, year by year, there should be some progress happening, that you become more and more compassionate person, that you become less and less grumpy person. That is what's expected. If that happens, you succeeded in fulfilling the purpose of reciting this mantra. Okay. With this in mind, as we recite this mantra, see if the meanings are reflected. You can reflect on the meanings of this mantra. We'll recite this one more time. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Meaning of the Tantra mantra now. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the Great Seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lighted, non-composite. Such as the nectar of Dharma I have discovered, finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retire into words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and that's the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of 3 times, I be obeisance. The 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions, for all bewildered miseries glow. Instructions on parting from the 4 attachments. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14. Praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. As we recite the praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, what is important is that there are 2 ways to think about this. Some people think that, by praising Buddha Shakyamuni, we accumulate merit. Buddha will be very happy, and then he will bless us with boons. But this is a very childish way of thinking. In reality, whether you praise the Buddha or not, it doesn't make any difference to the Buddha. Buddha is forever loving, carrying. And when you become a Buddha, you'll realize it. That for you, there's no difference whether somebody praises you or not. You're forever loving and caring towards every being. Then what's the purpose? Why should we have to praise the Buddha here then? So here, when you praise somebody, you praise for their qualities. Just see if you have some of the qualities indicated, qualities of Buddha indicated here with Vishnu, we praise the Buddha. So just see if you have some of these qualities. If you do have, rejoice. Rejoice because that you are, each one of us, we're aspiring to become Buddha. So these are the qualities, the fine-tuning of which, nurturing of which, we expect to become Buddha. So these are the qualities which we have to be emphatic to develop further, grow further, nurture. And if you don't have these qualities, don't worry, each one of us, we have at least the potencies or the potentials of these qualities within us, because we have the Buddha nature. So the finding that we don't have these qualities, given that we have the seeds of these qualities, try to cultivate them and then nurture them, and then follow the Gade, Para Samgade, Bodhisattva to become Buddha yourself. So this is the spirit with which to recite this text, short text. Okay. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, for destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, Nur of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher gods and human beings, to you, the completed and fully awakened one, endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. Do you otherwise then I prostrate? With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord to you I prostrate. With a supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold to I prostrate. Dust feet like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one to you I prostrate. Savior, having great compassion, the field of merit with college is like vast ocean. To you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to more precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of a dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud sea, conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 falls, and be delivered of samsara's ocean, perturb the ways of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let us turn to Heart Sutra Mantra, which is on page 31. Heart Sutra Mantra. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Okay, before we wind up this the evening session, we will engage in a very short ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, reciting the 3 verses in English, page number 50. In English, page number 50. The 3 verses for taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Which page? Russian, page number 36. Okay. In English, page 50. We'll recite the first verse 3 times, followed by the remaining 2 verses 3 times, and wholeheartedly let us make a very compassionate, very kind, the Bodhisattva spirit. In other words, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this is the basic spirit with the help of these verses together. Let us do the wholeheartedly. And from tomorrow, most likely the second day or the third day, we'll take the full-fleshed version of the aspiration Bodhisattva. And again, reinforce all the Buddhas, visualizing all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, so loving, caring, and embracing. And let us reinforce visualization of your two grandparents and all of family members, including children, and all dear sentient beings, leaving that aside. And imagine that you are leading this practice as we're taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and all sentient beings are joining you. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully run the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully run the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully run the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, now let us recite the Medicine Buddha mantra, the 108 times. In English, it is on page 54. In English, page 54. Medicine Buddha mantra. Russian 40. You speak Russian also? Okay, Russian page 40. English page 54. Okay, and the for your information, we see that the mantra, the short mantra, not the long one, a short mantra, it reads Tadyatha, or we recite it just in the Tibetan form, Tyatha. Om Begaze, Begaze, Maha Begaze. It says Maha Begaze, Begaze. There are two, we can say it just one time. There are two versions. And the why I'm going for the one, only the version with the one recitation. The first one has twice. Om Begaze, Begaze. Maha and then Begaze, Begaze. Instead of two, just say Maha Begaze, Ranza Sammunga De Swaha. So some of you may be happy to read this in Sanskrit, full Sanskrit form. You can read it in Sanskrit form, it's fine. Say why I'm reciting only one time in the second case, for two reasons. One is that in sutras, I found one sutra where it has only one, no two. And also in one of the public teachings of His Holiness, His Holiness also recited only the version with the one, not the two repetitions. Okay, so with this in mind, let's do just one time the repetition of the Begaze. The second one. Okay, sorry. When we recite this, just visualize those who have received the empowerment of Medicine Buddha. You can visualize yourself as Medicine Buddha. Those of us who have not received the Medicine Buddha, the empowerment. Okay. Yes, over there. Yes, over there. Yes, over there. There's the medicine Buddha. It's like the, let's say, it is like the Buddha Shakyamuni, the figure like Buddha Shakyamuni, blue in color, and holding the bowl containing the nectar and the herbal, the medicinal herbs. So this is how you can visualize on top of your crown. And as you recite the mantra, visualize that the, it's a syllable hum. So where, say, the one syllable which you can visualize at the heart of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas is syllable hum. Otherwise, the respective Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they have their own respective syllables. The one thing which is common, which you can visualize, is the syllable hum. You can visualize syllable hum at yourself or Medicine Buddha at the heart, surrounded by this mantra. And as we recite this, visualize that this mantra around the Medicine Buddha, Buddha's heart, so it's being reverberating with the sound. Om Begaze, Begaze, Ma Begaze, Begaze, Raza, Samangade. And then meanwhile, nectars and white lights emanate in all 10 directions, thereby filling the body of all sentient beings and making them purify all the negativities, accumulate merit. And because the sentient beings, they accumulate merit, become so enormous that His Holiness is, because that we all dependent on His Holiness, that the sentient beings, how successful they are in the pursuit of happiness. Today on the planet Earth, we have the Buddha, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So when the sentient beings, who are the recipients of His Holiness's blessings, when their merit is enormous, and naturally His Holiness's, the healing of His Holiness's, the needs and so forth will take place automatically. So this is how we need to visualize, praying that His Holiness needs should be healed as soon as possible, become normal as soon as possible. Okay. Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soho Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soho Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soho Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soho Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soho Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tyata Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samunga de Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Ma Bevaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Ranza Samongade Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Ranza Samongade Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze 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 Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Bevaze Bevaze Maha Bevaze Raza Samangade Soha Tiata Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samongade Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Soha Tia Ta Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Ranza Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha Tia Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Ranza Samongade Soha. Okay, let us now dedicate the merits thus gathered, which is on page 52 in a short dedication verse, 3 verses. That's the 3 and dedication verses. Russian, page 37. Russian, page 37. English, page 52. Okay, let us dedicate the merits thus gathered, the opening day of the retreat on the wisdom chapter of Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, Guided Bodhisattva's Life. And these merits be dedicated for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously, and that his knee replacement surgery, his knee heals as soon as possible. And let us also pray that the great centers of the learning of these teachings on the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of Bodhisattva, from all the traditions, the Sanskrit traditions, and within Tibetan Buddhism, the Sakya, Kaiku, Nyingma, Gelug, all traditions where these teachings are happening, may they be centers flourish, thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation. And may I personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through concerted effort, be able to soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and the Bodhisattva within you, so that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all demonstration beings to a ultimate happiness, which is Buddhahood. So with this mind, let's recite the verses together. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas all 3 times, out of the holding of the doctrine of scripture and insight, and all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast the space that we have amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief rooting Buddha for all those whose minds with some eyes blinded by ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, little bit addition to the group discussion tomorrow. So what we do is that there are Russians, some Russians here. So all the Russians, the Russian monastics, you will be, say, Tenzin Drumla, she will decide. She and the three of them will they split you into the several groups. And for the monastics from the the Russian group. So we have those who are familiar with this retreat. We have the Venerable Tushita here, and Venerable Petron are there, and of course Geshe are there. All three of them very familiar with this retreat. So the three of them are the moderates somewhere, and from the non-Russian group, the monastics, the Geshe, if you can go to wherever you feel the need to help, that would be very good. And yourself, your name? So two of you feel free where you feel the need to help. Wherever you feel the more need, you go and help. Okay, so this is how we split the monastics. And the others, and the Venerable over there, yes. So wherever you feel better, you like to go there, help to the whichever group you like, where there's no more need of you. And the others, I see that there are some of you who are the very familiar to my retreats. So I would say that whether you are there as the group moderator or not, it doesn't matter. Make sure that you help the group to grow with you. So you have the babysitting responsibility. Yes. So Tenzi Samsangla and Tenzi Shila. Right? Tenzi Shila. Yes. So there are many of you I know who are very familiar to the retreat, and particularly from Narendra Master's Course Batch 1. Anyone? Narendra Master's Course Batch 1? 1. Then Shangjula? No? 2. Audrilla there? Yes. And then we have Nicole? Yes. And NMC2? Narendra Master's Course Batch 2? NMC2? Narendra Master's Course Batch 2? Okay, yes, and so NTC, Narendra, the Dhamramkot course, batch 1, 2, 3, 4. Whichever batch, raise hands. Okay, so in a way, they're all familiar with my style of teaching, but I'm looking for those people who attended these retreats, where the group discussions were being held, and they know how to moderate these retreats. Okay, so we'll make 3 prostrations, and then we'll stop here.